Hello everyone, it's me again, Liz, the Light Siren, MB, back for another energy update, this time the Taurus new moon energy update. It's been an interesting couple of days leading up to this. I actually didn't know if I was going to end up doing this video because yesterday I was just feeling so unmotivated and I don't know what the point of this is, is anyone even watching these, does anyone care, kind of getting in my ego, getting a little weird about it. Yeah, and I just ended up being okay, well, what is the actual point of me doing these videos? Is it for me to have 1 million followers and help 1 million people? Or is it just me doing this because I enjoy sharing information and maybe I help one person along the way? Isn't that what matters? So then in, thinking about all this stuff yesterday, I'm wait, of course, I'm an empath. I feel the collective energy, and this is what it is. This is the vibe for the new moon. And I was before, I don't even know what I would write about. I'm not really feeling anything. I'm feeling kind of empty, kind of dead inside today. And then I was oh, this is what it's all about. It's about slowing down and pausing and reconfiguring, redefining our values, principles, beliefs, and where we are on our paths. So, we may have started things in January, I started this YouTube channel in January, and I was I don't know, if I'm into it. I'm not really a social media, online kind of person. I'd rather be barefoot in the woods talking to people, that kind of vibe. So I was yeah, I might as well just try it out. And now here I am, Taurus new moon, thinking about whether or not I still want to do this and in what way, and how would I change things if I were to change things, and what does everything mean to me? Simply put, what are my values, principles, beliefs, and how can I redefine or reconfigure my situation to match myself more and be more authentic on my path and be more aligned with my highest path and good? So that's the general channeled message for this Taurus new moon, is just slowing down and reevaluating where we are, where we've been. And I think a big part of it is making sure that we're not doing things because we think we should, right? So making sure that our values, principles, and beliefs are aligned with ourselves and our higher selves, rather than being aligned with the collective or with this, societal status quo, which, by the way, those systems and structures are breaking down anyway. So right now is a collective pause. It has been with the whole virus situation. This has been a collective sacred pause to slow down and reevaluate where we are and where we want to be, and what systems and structures are or are not working, and what new ones can we implement in order to create a better world. So, I've been talking about this since January. We had Pluto in Capricorn conjunct Saturn in Capricorn, and now Saturn's in Aquarius, and we have Capricorn and Jupiter. So this whole breaking down of societal structures and looking at it and seeing how we can expand upon it in order to serve the collective. So that's what's happening collectively, and honestly, with collective consciousness in mind, it all starts with the individual, right? It starts with us, each individually, aligning with our highest good. So that's why this pause, especially during this Taurus new moon, is so important, to take the time to really meditate and think on this stuff and understand where we're at, because as each person individually awakens, we contribute to the collective consciousness awakening, and we contribute to there being a better, more authentic world. We all co-construct our reality. And this brings me to my next point. Yesterday someone asked me, amidst all my inner anguish that I was going through, someone asked me, what has been going on astrologically? Why has everyone had such a hard month? Number one, we're all stuck with ourselves right now. All reality, like I said, is co-constructed through interaction. And if you're quarantined, especially alone, you don't have those external mirrors to see yourself in. So it's being stuck within yourself, seeing mirrors within yourself, seeing mirrors, with your shadow self. So a lot of shadow aspects coming up. And this kind of thing, you can see it in the astrological aspects. So the past month we've had many planets aligning, or many planets conjuncting Chiron in Aries, okay? So we had the Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Chiron all in Aries at one point. Now I think Mercury and Chiron are just in Aries. But yeah, this Chiron and Aries wounding aspect coming out on identity, inner authority. I talked about this in the Aries new moon report I did. But yeah, like I said, this is all about like the wounding coming through, any shadow aspects being shown to us through our own mirrors within ourselves. And it's all being brought to the surface to be digested and reincorporated. So what wounding is coming up regarding your values, principles, beliefs, your inner authority, your identity, right? So this is the Aries to Taurus shift. It starts with you, your identity, and what beliefs do you build off of that, and how do you use that as a resource to contribute to the world? So that is the question right now. And see, it's so funny, like yesterday I was all butthurt with my ego being like, oh, I don't even help anybody, no one watches my stuff, like I'm not an influencer, so how can I influence anybody? And yet I have people coming to me asking questions about this stuff. So it's like, literally like, okay, so I had to reconfigure that belief. Like, yeah, like, am I gonna go with society's concept of what being an influencer is, which is having millions of followers, or am I going to redefine that and be like, if I can influence one person positively, that's all that matters, right? And that's very, very much so aligned with my beliefs in regards to if you're into like transcendental Buddhism or anything like that, anything with transcendental thinking, you know that it's not that nothing is real, it's just that nothing has an inherent value, and you place a value onto that, and that's how you construct your reality through your belief systems. So if I can look at how I'm helping people and realize that there's no inherent value on the things that I do, but if I can help one person, I can see value in that, and that's all that matters, right? So this is what this time is asking us to do. After this past month of all this wounding coming up, we're being asked to reconfigure and realign with ourselves. So basically, Pluto and Saturn and Capricorn, like, tried to destroy everything, right? The tower fell. And then we had Aries and Chiron conjunct with, Mercury and the moon, making us maybe bicker with people we're quarantined with or bicker within ourselves, right? So all this wounding and triggering coming up. And that created a lot of dismantling of our confidence and of our clarity within our path, right? And so now with this Taurus new moon energy, we're really being called to redefine that, and we're going to have some pleasant surprises come through from this period, because we also have Uranus in Taurus, right? And Uranus always brings a little bit of surprise. So basically everything was torn down, and now we're being provided with an opportunity to rebuild. Okay? And this is not necessarily a rebirth of energy, because that came, a little bit. I had a video about that earlier in the year of that, like, we had like a huge purge. I think it was the Pisces moon. We had a huge purge of emotional trauma, and that allowed us to feel a little bit of rebirth and hope. And then we ended a karmic cycle, right? And then we started a new one. And when you start something new, it's scary, and a lot of things get triggered again. So that's what happened in Aries season, right? So we ended a karmic cycle I think it was the Virgo full moon. We ended a karmic cycle, Aries new moon, starting a new cycle. And I mean karmic, like 700-year cycle. This is something astrologers have been talking about for a really long time. But yeah, this brand new cycle, and so this is a reflection of the collective, but it's being reflected within ourselves too. So again, all these mirrors are very important to think about. So yeah, there's a lot of scary stuff that comes up when you're starting something new, right? And so you start the new thing and you start thinking about it, but then you have to pause and say, wait, okay, so I want to make sure I'm doing this in a very authentic way. So that's the point where we're at now, is we see more clearly a path forward, and if you don't yet, you will soon. You'll see a clearer path for you, and just move towards it slowly. Don't put too much pressure on yourselves, right? So this is Taurus energy, and they're all about work hard, chill harder. So make sure you're giving yourself time to chill. With all that being said, I just want to remind you too that this is a great awakening happening, a great spiritual awakening, with all these systems and structures breaking down, showing us the failed systems within ourselves, and then each individually we shift, and then that creates a shift in collective consciousness. So as each of us individually awakens, we awaken the entire collective consciousness, right? But this brings out a lot of it can bring out some pain, so you can literally feel like the weight of the world pressing down on you. But we must remember that diamonds are only created under massive amounts of pressure. So you need to allow that pressure to shape you and mold you and show you who you are. And so I just want you to keep that in mind. If you're feeling really bogged down and tired, like I have just been feeling so exhausted, I'm not even doing anything. Like I tried to go for a walk yesterday and my feet felt like 1,000,000 pounds and I just couldn't do it. I just went back in bed. And you know what? You need to listen to your body and your intuition, especially if you're empathic like me or you're a light worker. You're having to expend a lot more energy right now just to balance yourself because you're taking in so much of all of the changes happening around you. So really listen to your body. If you need to sleep for 2 days, like just do it. Like enjoy that time to just, take care of yourself. And I know that some of us are not so privileged to be able to take that time to just chill. If you're, still working, if you're an essential worker, it's even more important for you to take time for yourself in between shifts right now. Okay, so really taking those breaks as you can and need to. And this may also bring out some other symptoms. And there's a lot of people who talk about awakening systems, so I'm not going to get into that too much, but just listen to your body, use your intuition. So in conclusion, we've entered a new cycle. An Aries season with Chiron and Aries brought up a lot of wounding and a lot of fears regarding this new cycle on our path and who we are and what we're meant to do. And this Taurus new moon is giving us a pause in order to reconfigure, recalibrate, and move forward slowly but surely. And, there's also the whole spiritual awakening thing and collective consciousness, system structures breaking down. Like, there's a lot going on right now. So I have a few exercises for you that I think would be very important and very helpful in balancing you and helping you move forward at this time. So the first one is you can either do this as a journaling meditation or as like just a purely meditation, do it all in your head. I like to write things out because I find it to be, like spelling is a spell, like words shape reality. So I really like laying it out in words, and that creates like a basis of reality for me personally. So what you can do, you can either journal this or you can do it in your head. If you're doing just a meditation type of way, it can help to ground yourself and stay focused by holding onto some stones and crystals. So what I would advise you to do is have a list of your beliefs, values, and principles, okay, on one side. And notice any beliefs that may be blockages on your path, or maybe toxic beliefs, negative beliefs. Take a note of those. If you're writing, you can underline, you can star them, circle them. If you're thinking, you can just kind of move those aside in your consciousness. And then I want you to think of the exact opposite thing and write that down. So if you have a belief that's like, I only attract toxic people in relationships. The opposite of that would be, I only attract people who love themselves fully, right? Because that's usually the basis of a toxic relationship, is someone is looking for something in someone else. So I only attract people who are very in touch with themselves and very self-aware. That could be something you write down instead. Shift your belief to align with your highest path. That's what we're trying to do here. And another thing I would advise you to do, again, you can either do this in your head or you can journal this, is write out or think about your biggest goal, okay? Your loftiest, biggest goal that sometimes you tell yourself isn't possible. And I want you to bring it back to the present and write down or think about, 1 to 5 small achievable goals that you can do within this period of time, especially if you're quarantined, within the limits of what's happening around you. 5 or less small achievable goals. And you'll see that as you fulfill these goals, that you'll see how beautiful and powerful and how much of a creator and manifester you really are. And you'll begin to show yourself that you can complete this goal. Because sometimes our dreams are so big, but a dream, we can't make that into a reality until we create goals, because goals are dreams plus intention. It's all about the intention and the belief behind it. So write out these goals, and because remember, the new moon is all about the new cycle. So full moon we harvest, new moon we set new intentions. So this is the intention setting process. And I also have now a guided meditation that I'm going to do right now. You can do this later, or you can do this now if you're ready. I'm going to timestamp this meditation so you can come back and do this whenever you'd like, or you can do this without the video on your own time, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to 2 crystals in the palms of my hand. These really help to ground me and keep me in my body so that I can be more mindful. This is a mindfulness meditation. So here I have red tiger's eye, very root chakra oriented, very grounding, and then I have my calcite, which has a very nice smooth buttery texture, and it's just really nice to feel, very grounding. So I want you to put your hands palms up, rest them on your knees if you're sitting down. If you're laying down, you can just lay them out beside you. And we're going to begin by taking 4 deep breaths in. We're going to breathe in for 3, hold for 4, and then breathe out for 8. So go ahead and breathe in for 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. One more deep breath in. All right, now I want you to focus all of the energy in your hands. You can imagine beams of light coming out of the crystals in your hands, the energy coming from your own hands. Or if you're not holding crystals, you can imagine 2 balls of light energy in your hands. Concentrate that energy in your hands while deep breathing. This is a part of your chi energy, the energy that you share with the entire universe that comes from Source. Now that we have energized our hands, let's move this energy, these 2 balls of light, down to our feet, which is part of our root chakra. Feel the energy at the soles of your feet. And from this point, roots grow out of your feet and into the ground. They go through the ground if you're outside, or through the floor of your house, if that's where you're at now. Imagine, hear the sounds and sensations that accompany these roots digging into the ground. As the roots go deeper into the earth, you can hear the rattle of gravel and of soil. These roots connect you to the earth and to the all that is. And now from your feet, we stretch our energy to our root. Imagine a tail in between your legs, coming from your tailbone. This is an extension of your root that connects to the other chakras. Feel a swelling of energy there, like a red ball of light expanding and contracting as you breathe, bringing healing energy from the earth. This energy up through the sacral chakra, through the solar plexus chakra, and up into the heart space. If it helps you focus on your heart chakra, you can put your hands over your heart at this time. expand the energy in our heart, the more we expand our energetic awareness. Our heart needs a lot of support and love because it filters all things. It is the center of our intuition, and it's where we communicate with our higher self. Breathe into your heart chakra. As you inhale, the green ball of energy expands, and it contracts as you breathe out. Inhale to expand. Exhale to contract. You can say to yourself or out loud, I am love, I am light, I am connected to all that is. I am love, I am light, I am connected to all that is. And now we move this energy up. Now that we are filled with love, up through our throat chakra, through our third eye where we feel pressure on our forehead, and up to the top of our head and just above the head, which is our crown chakra, which connects us to universal source energy, the chi, light energy that expands through all things. If you're a bit guarded of a person like I am, you may find it helpful to clearly consent to opening up your crown. Usually I'll think or say something like, I am open to the wisdom of the universe, or I open my crown to receive from Source. Imagine a light purple and white halo of light just above your head. And through this halo comes a beam of light energy of chi from Source. As you open your crown, this energy moves through your body. So at this point, you may feel pressure at the top of your head and expansion. And now you can move energy up through your feet from the earth and down through the crown from Source. And this creates two energy sources that swirl and combine like the warm and cold fronts that create a tornado. It creates a swirling, beautiful energy in your heart space, cleansing and pouring out any energy that does no longer belong there. So as you breathe in, pull energy from your root and receive energy from your crown. Swirling in your heart space, and as you exhale, all negative energy and energy that no longer belongs will leave from your heart space. Pull from your root, receive from your crown, recycle through your heart space. Pull from your root, receive from your crown, recycle through your heart space. Remember that nothing has inherent meaning, and as your thoughts move, you don't have to hold on to any of them. The only meaning and value that exists is that which you place onto it in your experiences. Therein lies the truth that life is a game, and that no choice is inherently wrong or right, it just is. We can move slowly and be present, There are no pressing matters other than the present, and even there lies a basis for expanding our awareness of how inherent truth does not exist, even in this moment. You don't have to define it. You can allow it to just be, to just exist, without meaning. If your hands are on your heart, you can return them back to your knees. Bring your awareness back to your hands and breathe into the space here. You may feel a little lethargic today, a little slow, a little tired. That's okay. There's no pressure to do anything other than what you feel is right at any given time. And now we bow our heads and thank the earth. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then we raise our heads and thank Source and the universe for sharing with us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. I hope that helped you all. Let me know how this month goes, and make sure you reach out to me through my email, thelightsirens333@gmail.com. I'm still doing Pay What You Can readings for the month of April, and you can always hit me up for an astro chart reading, tarot reading, intuitive counseling session. If you need herbal advice, anything like that, make sure you hit me up. I'm always here to share my wisdom and knowledge with you all. Thank you. Namaste.